2012 City Commission meeting will come to order. Madam City Manager.
Will you please stand and join me in the invocation? Most eternal God, thank you for allowing us to gather here tonight for the purpose of conducting the business of our city. As we approach the Memorial Day holiday, we remember and we are forever grateful for those currently and previously serving in the military who by their efforts protect this country and the freedoms that we hold dear. We remember all loved ones who have been a part of our lives and our community. In your mighty name we pray. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Tonight is somewhat special. We enter into a new era at the Commission. Up here, we're attempting to go paperless. Everything, the agenda is on these iPad things that they gave us, so we bought. So we're attempting to save some trees and other things. We'll see how successful we are. Madam City Manager, are there any agenda modifications?
We have one deletion, Mr. Mayor. It is item number 7.01, which was the appearance of Commissioner Bill Proctor to discuss acquisition of property on Capitol Circle, and Commissioner Proctor has advised us that he won't be here at this meeting for this topic.
All right.
That's all I have. We don't have any other modifications.
I thought there were no additions?
I don't have any additions.
Okay.
We do have some additional agenda materials that came to you as modifications later.
Yeah, we're aware of that. All right, we're on the next item then, which is citizen input on agenda items. Any cards?
Mayor, we do not have any.
Thank you very much. We're on consent. Any items
Mr.
to be?
Mayor, you had one presentation. Are you?
Oh, we had presentations?
Mm-hmm.
Did I miss that?
Yes.
I do have one presentation. One very good presentation. Is she here?
I don't see her.
She's coming. Come on in, please. No, you can keep walking. You got to come up here with me, Pam. Catch your breath. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Pam Hightower. Pam is a very dear friend of mine, my wife. We've known for a while, and it gives me great pleasure and a great honor this evening to take this opportunity to honor her. Her husband is here, Pink Hightower. He's already been honored many, many times, but I want to take this opportunity to say this about Pam Hightower, who is as indicated, a dear friend and a retiring administrator from Leon County Schools. I think she's now at Bond. She's guided Bond, and she's just been one of those stalwarts, one of those teachers in our community that we all cherish, quite frankly. She's been the kind of person that we want all our kids to learn from. She's just that kind of a person. I'm saying all this to give her a chance to catch her breath. Okay. That's working? Okay, how much more I need? Are you good now? Okay. Now, she really, truly is a great person. I mean, a great part of this community. You know, there are people that you know, that you've been with, and they do such a great thing, so wonderful things for this community. And Pam Hightower is one of those. And so I wanted to give her a proclamation upon her retirement, and it reads as follows. Whereas Dr. Pam Hightower committed to build and sustain student academic achievement in our city, county, and the state, and enhance the quality of life for students and families. Whereas Dr. Pam Hightower served as an exceptional educator for 40 years in Jefferson and Leon counties. Whereas Dr. Pam Hightower demonstrated a significant contribution to all students in increasing student academic performance as well as excellence in leadership and in teaching. And whereas Dr. Pam Hightower's interest in the education began as a volunteer mom advancing to a paraprofessional, a teacher, an assistant principal, and concluded her tenure as principal of Bond Elementary School and her career as an educational leader. Whereas Dr. Pam Hightower's hardworking, selfless, and genuine love for children was exemplified in her job performance and epitomizes her commitment, integrity, and leadership to students, parents, stakeholders in Leon County and the entire field of education. And whereas Dr. Pam Hightower maintained the belief that all of her students are the embodiment of greatness and worked diligently for 40 years to ensure that each student, regardless of their background, achieve and exhibit greatness. And whereas on May 25th, 2012, Dr. Pam Hightower will retire after 40 years of outstanding dedication to education, leaving behind a blazing trail of success and milestones. And whereas the Bond Elementary School, the Leon County Schools family count on Dr. Pam Hightower as a dynamic leader in the field of education and a catalyst for positive change in the lives of all she encounters. Now, therefore, I, John R. Marks III, on behalf of the City Commission and the citizens of Tallahassee, do hereby proclaim May 26, 2012, to be Dr. Pam Hightower's celebration weekend and encourage all to recognize and support the educational leaders, all the educational leaders in our community. We need to support them. But tonight, we're going to honor Dr. Pam Hightower. Pam Hightower.
I'm truly honored and very surprised. I thought I was coming here to talk about my all-males academy, and I was rushing through the parking lot trying to get here. But I'm just honored to stand before you as an educator for the past 40 years, something that I thoroughly enjoy doing. If my husband will allow me to do it, I would do it for free, but that does not work. But I have enjoyed. I was thinking as I was driving into work this morning, I started in Tallahassee at Cologne Lakes on the north side of town. I went to Appalachia on the east side of town, and then in Carolina Boulevard on the west side of town, and now ending my career on the south side of town. So I've been all over Tallahassee, not because I could not hold a job, Mayor, but because I love what I do, and each time it was a time for me to advance. And I am just truly honored as I leave Bond Elementary School, a school that I have grown to love, people that I have grown to love. It is going to be very, very difficult to walk out the door. But I know that I have embedded in my children and on my staff that we are eagles and we do soar high above the rest. So I do leave knowing that Bond Elementary School will continue to soar high above the rest. It is the best kept secret on the south side of Tallahassee, and I do thank you this afternoon for this honor.
Honors will continue on Friday night at the Civic Center, I believe it is. University Center Club. And for those of you who are inclined, please join us at the University Center Club. Thank you again for your outstanding and excellent service to the cities of this community. Thank you, Pam. All right, next item.
We're on consent, Mr. Mayor. We did check, are there any citizen appearances?
No, apparently not.
Okay.
All right, we're on consent.
Move consent.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Next item.
The next item is policy formation and direction, and the first one under that category is 13.01, interlocal agreement with Leon County related to countywide environmental regulations. And the city attorney and Karen Jumonville will present this item.
Thank you, Madam Manager. Briefly, let me just turn the matter over to Karen for her to tell you about the policy and the process, and then we'll come back and I'll speak to the actual interlocal.
Thank you, Madam Manager, City Attorney. Mayor, Commissioners, I'm really pleased to be here tonight to present the city's ordinance that amends our environmental management ordinance to be consistent with the county's minimum environmental standards. And I'd like to first acknowledge the efforts of a citizens committee that was actively involved in this process. It included Pam Hall, Cliff Lamb, Roger Wynn, Carmen Green, and Judy Hayden, and we met on at least 4 occasions, and it was an intense effort and time-consuming. Their effort was absolutely invaluable, and the product before you tonight is better because of their efforts. I'd also like to just mention that this isn't a growth management effort alone. Steve Palmer and Dwight Arnold were great in growth management, but Wayne's team contributed substantially to this effort. Brian Weebler was actively involved, Zach Galloway, people from Stormwater, John Buss, David Henry. And then finally, the county growth management staff was excellent. They were very fair and reasonable throughout the process, and it was much more collaborative. It was as collaborative as we could have hoped when going into this process. So, and our legal staff has been excellent, Hedel and Linda as well. So I want to thank everybody for their efforts. As you know, this is the ordinance that is the culmination of the county charter amendment that passed back in November 2nd of 2010. And since that time, there's been a very intense effort to get this accomplished. There was a 2-phased approach where phase 1 of the ordinance related to the adoption of some uniform water quality standards for development on the remaining undeveloped lots within the Lake Jackson protection area and also within the Bradfordville study area. And that was completed as part of phase 1. It was adopted on March 15th of 2011. So I know you've had updates on that portion of this effort already. Phase 2 of the implementation, that is where the Citizens Committee got involved, and the staff committee started their weekly meetings and basically looked at the city code and the county code side by side and went through in excruciating detail to try to come up with what would be appropriate minimum environmental standards. And that phase was set to be completed by April 1st of 2012. We were very close and had asked the county commission for a little additional time to refine our ordinance and make sure there were no hidden gotchas, and they had granted that. So this phase of the process needs to be complete by June 1st of 2012. There were 3 main areas that phase 2 addressed. Stormwater, most of stormwater was addressed in the first component phase of this project. Some minor stormwater issues were looked at in phase 2. And then the second was landscaping and tree protection in natural area. And then finally, conservation and preservation standards. Those were the general areas that the committees looked at. Stormwater, on page 2 of the agenda item, I kind of go through a bulleted list of what are the most substantial changes that resulted from this effort. Most of the changes were really typos, making definitions consistent between the city and county, and then updating the ordinance to reflect things that have changed over time in the comprehensive plan and other elements of the ordinance. In terms of more substantive things, in stormwater, I mentioned the 2 changes that were made as part of phase 1. As part of phase 2, there was a standard that modified the design standard for the attenuation of water flows from developed sites, and it changes it from a critical storm analysis to a storm-by-storm analysis. And what that really means is the benefit is that the city and county have the same standard, and all of the staff engineers and the members of the Citizens Committee agreed that that would be a beneficial change. It creates slightly more work on staff, but not enough for it to cause any kind of real concern. In the landscaping section, again, we made changes to terminology mostly, reflecting the multimodal transportation district standards, adding consistency between the city and county codes. We adopted a reference to some Bradfordville landscape standards for properties that subsequently get annexed into the city. There's a slightly different standard that would apply. We're modifying some management times for some perimeter vegetation around stormwater ponds, pretty minor change. And then finally, in landscaping, changing the size of a protected dogwood tree from what was previously 8 inches in the city to a more restrictive standard of 4 inches within the city, and that matches what's in the county code. With regard to conservation and preservation features, again, most of the changes were definitional in nature, and just trying to make the 2 codes as consistent as possible. And the final change to that section related to the impacts within a canopy road protection zone for sidewalk construction. The city code previously had allowed impacts within a 15-foot area, and the Citizens Committee felt that that should be reduced to a 10-foot area with a maximum sidewalk size of 6 feet. And we did not see that as particularly problematic. We always have the linear infrastructure variance process if we get into a situation where that's not workable. So those are really the most substantive changes. There were a couple of other points that I'd like to make. During the review process, and I mentioned this in the last update to the full commission, the issue of regulation of slopes as a policy item, and philosophically whether they should be regulated within the urban services area, came up at the staff committee and the citizens committee, and there was a recommendation to move forward and have the county commission and the city commission re-examine the appropriateness of regulating slopes, both significant and severe, within the urban services area. That's something that when the county commission adopted their minimum standards ordinance on May 8th, just a few weeks ago, they did also include in their motion that the police department initiate the comp plan amendments necessary to make that change. The city can always be more restrictive, so this is an issue that we'll bring to you for consideration through energy and environmental target issue and then the full committee, but we'll have ample opportunity to discuss what the city's desire is with regard to slopes, but we'll probably be bringing that item to E&E in June or July. But that's something that was discussed at length at the committee. And then finally, the other substantive change relates to fast tracking. The change in no way affects our private sector fast tracking program, which is, I think, the more important of the two fast tracking processes that the city adopted. It doesn't affect our review times that we put in place that are very strict for quick turnaround times. But what it does affect is the public sector fast tracking that was adopted in 2009 that said that government entities do not have to get permits. They do have to they still had to comply with all the regulations, but we relaxed the process to basically say they can start construction, and along the way we'll monitor to make sure that all the development standards have been met by the time the project's complete. That was something that the Citizens Committee and the Planning Commission particularly didn't feel comfortable with, that process. So we have taken it out of, that's not part of this ordinance. We've taken that out of the ordinance. And we felt at the staff level that that was something that really didn't have that much negative impact to the city, because we can always expedite the review of projects that are shovel ready to come to us. So while they'll have to get permits again, like they had to pre-2009, we can work, we're certainly willing to work with the applicable department or agency to make sure that that gets expedited to the greatest extent possible. So this ordinance is before you tonight on the 6 o'clock portion of the agenda under public hearing, at which point the vote could be taken, but I did want to frame the issues for the commission to introduce it that could be a segue into Jim's section on the interlocal agreement that's been drafted that actually sets forth the process for how we would amend our environmental management ordinance in the future, and the coordination mechanisms with the county to make sure that future changes don't fall below the minimum standards adopted by the county. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions or to turn it over to Jim to complete the rest of the discussion.
Well, I just want to say what a wonderful job you guys were doing, everybody did on this project. I mean, we had input through our target issue committee, and I know how hard and how diligent you all worked to make this happen. And I guess the big thing I like is the fact that there was this cooperation between the city and the county to get this done. And that means a lot. It means a lot to our citizens, quite honestly. So I want to commend you. I want to commend your staff. I want to commend all those who worked on this for doing such what I consider to be a fine job on a project that was not very easy. It wasn't, but it was well done, and you deserve a lot of credit, Karen. I just want to take this opportunity to thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It was a great team effort.
Commissioner?
Mr. Mayor, I want to also remind you that Commissioner Nancy Miller was your representative liaison on this issue, who met with the county and really kind of set the stage for helping us get this moving.
She's absolutely correct. She did a wonderful job in making sure that happened in the way it did. Commissioner?
I just really want to tell you how proud I am of you and your staff, and also of the county and their staff for making this go as smoothly as it has, for finishing up in the time frame that you have. And honestly, at the end of the day, looking back on the experience, I know this was a tremendous amount of work, added workload for both the staffs. And what a product you have. I mean, I think that it's given you a chance to really go through the EMO and the county to go through our EMO. So we've shared information between the two sides of the street, and now everybody is really familiar with the other guy's ordinance. And I think that alone has been just a phenomenal progressive step. But I don't know what you're going to do with your time now that you finish this. We'll have to find something else for you to review.
You have a long list already.
I'm sure you do. But thank you very much for working so hard and so diligently. I do want to hear more, and I want the commission to hear more about how we're going to work out changes that if we see a change that needs to be made in our EMO, what the process would be. So Mr. English is going to fill us in on that.
Yes, he is.
Thank you.
Mr. City Attorney.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. As Karen indicated, what the interlocal agreement does, and that's part of this agenda item, we're going to ask you not to vote on that till after your public hearing later tonight. But what that does is provide that mechanism to ensure consistency. Now that you have a uniform and countywide minimum standards, you don't want either the city or county adopting subsequent amendments that would cause you to lose that consistency. So essentially, there are actually some flow charts in your agenda material, but I can tell you briefly, the first review is obviously the staffs at City and County Growth Management would get together, review the amendments, and make a determination if they were consistent or if they would cause any future consistency. It's frankly anticipated that 99.5% probably of the amendments would be worked through that way. It would resolve that way with no further effort. In the event that they did not have an agreement, in the event that the staffs thought one or the other was adopting an inconsistent amendment, there's a dispute resolution process then that kicks it to the city manager and the county administrator. And we use that process in a number of other areas where they have a process to meet and try to resolve that dispute. And then in the event, and again, I think extremely unlikely that they would ever get to them, and in that case, in the event they were unable to resolve that dispute, you actually have a mediation process that we would go into. It's not arbitration, it's a voluntary mediation. And again, a very logical dispute resolution process, very similar to what we've used in a number of other manners.
Okay. Any questions, comments? All right, we will defer action until after the public hearing, which will be at 6 o'clock.
Correct.
Okay. All right, next item.
The next item is item number 13.02, and it's a status update on the Tallahassee-Leon County Civic Center Authority and consideration of entering into a third amendment to an agreement between the city, Leon County, the Tallahassee-Leon County Civic Center Authority, Florida State University, and the Board of Education. And Commissioners, we've been working to come up with an agreement that is in the best interest of our community related to our Civic Center for a number of months, and we think that we have come up with something that is quite workable after putting some effort into it. I understand that the county reviewed this item and approved it last night. We have David Coburn and Nancy Lenan who are here, who also helped craft the agreement, especially in the final hours. Jim English is going to give you the
And
details.
Mr. Morcom is here, the chair of the Civic Center.
I'm sorry, is here as well. Jim is going to give you the details of the agreement and talk about where we need to go from here.
Thank you, Madam Manager. This, as the manager indicates, is an update on what really is a transition of the Tallahassee-Leon County Civic Center and a request for approval of some specific amendments to the agreement. You'll recall that in 2004, the legislature passed legislation with City Commission support that amended the statute that controls the governance structure, if you will, of the authority Frankly, there were some anticipated additional changes following that didn't occur because of a variety of constraints. The amendments that are before you tonight will essentially allow that transition to proceed. They include, and they're itemized in your agenda item, a one-time $250,000 contribution by the city to the settlement of the pending litigation involving the Civic Center Hotel. We are not a party to that litigation, but it's very beneficial to have that litigation ended. More importantly to the city is a termination of the city and the county's potential financial liability for operating deficits at the Civic Center. And then finally, a commitment, a very strong commitment by FSU of the maintenance of the facility, availability of the facility for public events, essentially at the same level that it has been in the past. I indicated in the agenda item that there's additional language on that, and that's actually in the attachment, which is the actual contract language. Was worked out after we were getting the agenda item out. You can see that at page 3 of 6 of the agreement. It's paragraph 4C under obligations of FSU, and it specifically provides for the appointment of a Civic Center Advisory Board for purpose of advising FSU on the use and availability to individuals and community groups. And the composition of that board is 3 members appointed by the City of Tallahassee, 3 members appointed by Leon County, 1 member appointed by FAMU, and 8 members appointed by FSU. With that, I think the manager indicated the County Commission approved the contract amendment or the contract with exactly the same language as you have before you last evening. I'll be glad to answer any questions, and as indicated, we have representatives from both the Civic Center and FSU who would be glad to respond.
I don't have any questions. Any questions, but I will say this. I have been on the authority for quite a while now, and I've watched the Civic Center and its operations over those years, and we struggled. From the very beginning, it was a struggle, but they managed to stay afloat for those years. And having served on that, I believe that this solution, there has to be a change. And if we're going to enjoy that center in a manner in which we should, this community should. And I'm pleased in paragraph 4, which is one thing that I said completely at the outset when this began to evolve, and I was concerned about Florida State University's control of the Civic Center and the access of the community to the Civic Center. I didn't want to see that diminished at all, and I made that very, very clear. I think Nancy was chair at that time. Dave, you were the chair? Okay. I made that very clear. I made it to David when he talked to me, and I also made it clear to the president of the university that was paramount in my mind, that the use of that facility should be a community use, notwithstanding the fact we know FSU is going to use it in a manner which is appropriate. But the other things that are included in there I think are really very, very good. FSU is going to do some major renovations, well overdue. Well overdue. And when you say FSU will continue to operate and maintain the Civic Center as a comprehensive civic, governmental, educational, recreational, convention, and entertainment facility for the use and enjoyment of the Tallahassee-Leon County community at large as a community asset, as well as for the use of FSU, and there will be a community board, which we've already discussed. So I'm satisfied. I'm pleased that this step is being taken, and I firmly believe that this is a step in the right direction, and it's going to be a tremendous asset for our community in the future. And I'll leave it at that. Anybody else, Commissioner?
Yeah, if someone could just speak to the benchmarking on public access. I know you all reference wanting to maintain the same level of public access that we currently have available. Can we speak to a general understanding of what's currently available, and then That way we know whether we're meeting that goal or not.
Yes, sir. Nancy Linan, board member of the Civic Center. I'm working off the top of my head because it's buried somewhere here in my book, so these folks will jump up if I'm wrong. The events went down from 2009 when we had 551 to I think 448 this last year, showing you that the economy dropped. But even now, I think you have FSU generally taking 13% of the events. That's non-arena. You have citizen events, Rotary, United Way, all the meetings that we have, stuff like that. It's about 81%, down 3%. And you have the stuff in the arena, non-FSU ticketed events, so that's not the basketball games, holding steady at 5%.
And Commissioner Gillum, they have provided us those actual numbers. We have those. I don't have them with me, but so we can,
Right,
we can
I
go
didn't
back
see
and
them in
reference.
the
I
contract.
thought I saw them in here, but maybe.
I'm just wondering, how do we, I appreciate and applaud the creation of the advisory board, which I think is good to have public input, but there really are no benchmarks with regard to public access. There is language about it, but there are no X percentage of time or even X number of days, that kind of access in anywhere in the contract guaranteed.
There is language in the document, Commissioner, that provides for no substantial reduction over what is the current public access, and that information is now in the public record.
But is there an addendum that then says where we currently are?
Yes.
No,
It
the
is-
numbers themselves have not been embedded or attached in the contract. We just have the reference to the same level of use. And then we know what that level of use is with those numbers. We didn't make them part of the
Right,
contract.
I guess if I look back 10 years from now, I don't know, maybe by then we'll have a big old community events venue, hopefully.
Hopefully.
But if I look back then, where would I benchmark from? I mean, I would see no substantial difference, but where would I go to make the determination?
We can make them part of the agenda item if you want, file it with the clerk as
Yeah.
a part of tonight's agenda item, so they'll be easily
I
accessible.
mean, I think that's.
That's fine.
Okay, great. And I also agree that this is, it's about time we move this sort of off the agenda and allow the Civic Center to move forward in a productive way. But definitely want to make sure we have a little more than sort of vague language around current level somewhere in the record that we can reference.
Anybody else? Commissioner, I'll go right down the line.
I just want to thank the representatives from the university and the Civic Center Authority and everybody in getting this done. The city attorney's office, this has been a long, long time coming on several fronts. And so it's a really opportunity, I think, for everybody to get the litigation resolved, get the ownership squared away, get the city's liability squared away. So I'm excited about getting this done and moving forward.
Commissioner Miller?
Just congratulations. I mean, I'm really pleased that you've come to, especially the settlement of the suit. I think that's been going on as long as I can remember. I mean, 20 years plus. So I think this is a real milestone, and thank you for your work.
All right, we have more. Go right ahead.
Yeah, with regard to where the money is coming from for this settlement, obviously it wasn't budgeted, so the item identifies deficiencies fund. But since this is a lawsuit settlement associated, is there not a more appropriate place rather than the deficiencies which we're trying to replenish?
The budget office chose that. I will tell you, I noticed in the county agenda item, I believe that they used their risk management fund. We looked at that issue, and I did not believe that was, with the city risk management fund, appropriate, because it is not we're not a party to the litigation in any way. I may be a little too protective of that fund, but it's there for a good reason.
Let me make sure.
It's ultimately the commission's choice. I just didn't think that was a good choice.
The $250,000 is not related directly to the settlement of the lawsuit, is it?
Yes, it is.
It is?
It is. Our It is a I think it's
I
described
thought this
in
was
here.
past deficiencies in
Yes, sir.
our obligation. Okay, all right, I misunderstood.
The only reason why I raised that is because it is related to a legal settlement. It would seem to me that, especially given our efforts to replenish the deficiencies fund of the general government, that we would look to a more appropriate legal source of funding to settle the matter. But if I'm the only one, I don't want to by any means hold it up.
Commissioner?
I think that's a good point. I mean, and I'd suggest that we maybe approve this and then maybe take an additional look at where we,
Get the
where we
funds.
come, where we get the money from to pay the amount.
I think we can come back with that. I misunderstood. I know we had some deficiencies with regards to the operations of the Civic Center, and I thought we were going to have to do something to cover that, but that's
They're
okay.
being forgiven.
Okay. All right. With that in mind, we have options 1 and 2. We have a motion.
Move option 1.
Second.
Properly moved and
With
set.
the, I'm sorry, with the
With the
funding source to
caveat
be
on
determined.
the
The
funding
caveat that
piece.
we'll discuss the source of the
Right,
The caveat and the benchmark.
right, caveat and benchmarking. We got, okay? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you. Next item.
The next item is 13.03, which is a discussion and approval of interlocal agreement between the City of Tallahassee, Leon County Sheriff regarding consolidation of public safety dispatch communications and associated amendments to the existing agreements. And Commissioners, as you know, the memorandum of agreement between the City of Tallahassee, Leon County, and the Leon County Sheriff to jointly operate public safety communications is going to expire, the one that we put together a couple of years ago, December 31st, 2012. And this agenda item is seeking your approval to look at some different ways of operating via that agreement that we have come to learn might be better in our best interest in terms of changing some of the committee structure and that type of thing. Let me ask Jay Townsend to introduce this item.
Thank you, Madam Manager, and good evening, Mayor and City Commissioners. As we all heard about 2 meetings ago from Carl Morgan, the facility is well underway in terms of construction, and if you haven't been out there, it is an awesome behemoth to behold. So I'd encourage you to get out there and look at it. This agenda item before you marks another pivotal step for the public safety complex and initiative by creating the long-awaited joint dispatch organization itself. As presented in the agenda item and discussed by the city manager, we are really seeking approval from you on 3 items in particular. First is the establishment of the joint dispatch organization itself to be led by a director that would be hired by the manager, the sheriff, and the county administrator, with any one of the 3 possessing the ability to terminate the same. And that provision is very akin to what we have in both our blueprint, our planning, our recent place director, and of course our agreement with the county on our fire chief as well. Secondly, it creates 2 oversight groups, the first being what is lovingly called the board, which is the manager, the county administrator, and again, the sheriff that provide the executive policy oversight for the organization, the ultimate authority for how this organization would run. They work in tandem with the management committee, which is essentially what our Public Safety Communications Board consists of today, which is a sheriff appointee, our police and fire chiefs, and the EMS chief. And again, they provide the day-to-day guidance to that director and help out with the organization. Lastly, the major elements in this agreement is that this supersedes the interlocal agreement related to the 800 megahertz agreement, the system, by doing away with the Public Safety Communications Board. So essentially, the PSCB becomes the management committee, and that committee then takes on the responsibilities that were chartered to the Public Safety Communications Board. If the commission were to approve the interlocal agreement related to the if the commission were to approve the agreement tonight, the next step is to actually go out and start the hiring process for the director. We estimate that it's going to be probably until the summer till we have somebody on board going through the advertising process. We are looking at an October 1 of bringing the group together, both the city and county employees, and as part of the new fiscal year process, and they wouldn't occupy the building probably until spring of the following year. So we're looking at 2013, probably the April-May time period, when that group would actually occupy the building itself. But over that time period, the director would have the ability to formulate the different policies associated with the organization. We will have a number of other agreements that are coming forth to you. One is related to the facilities management itself, and that will be coming in the next couple meetings. And another one is related to the ISS, different functionalities of the building. At this time, I'd like to ask Raul Lavin and Sabrina Holloman, not Alan, to come forward and talk to you about the financial and the ISS functions of the agreement.
Thank you, Jay, Madam Manager, and Commissioners, Mayor. As far as the financial impact of the communications portion of the joint dispatch, in 2013, there isn't really any cost. The agreement calls for the cost to be split based on the population shift, and once you factor in the cost that is currently being expended by the sheriff and the cost that currently is being expended by TPD, total cost for the city, once you split it out, is about $4.4 million. We're currently spending about $4.5, $4.6 million, so there's actually a little bit of a reduction in 2013. Part of that is because the operating costs are not being factored in for the full year, because we know that the facility is not going to be completed until May of next year, so we're only factoring in 6 months of operating expenses related to the facility. As we look at 2014 moving forward, there is going to be a slight increase because there's some additional IT costs, there's some additional personnel costs related to the joint dispatch portion of this that will increase that, probably between $25,000 to $100,000, so it's not significant. As Jay said, there are other agreements that are going to be coming back, specifically the operating and maintenance agreement, and that will have additional costs, and based on discussions, we're looking at splitting that 50-50. But as far as the communications portion of this, right now, there is no additional cost in 2013. Let me ask Sabrina to come up and talk real briefly about some of the IT components of this agenda item.
Quick question, I'm sorry if I missed this. The anticipated costs for this will be rolled into the fire services agreement.
There is a combination of funding sources. Right now, we're already paying the communications cost for TPD, so that cost, the general fund will be transferring that to the new agency, so that's almost a wash. There will be some costs related to the costs that fire pays for dispatch operations that will be transferred, as well as some of the costs that EMS pays for dispatch operations, and that totals about $900,000. So those revenues will be brought into the equation, backed out, and then the net will be distributed between the city and the county based on the population shift.
And I had a question real quick, Mayor. The preliminary budget numbers that we've seen for next year and the 5-year, do they factor in at this point all the known costs of the joint dispatch facility?
We have factored in the cost of the operating facility for 2013, half a year, and then in the future years will be the full year. Okay. So those numbers are already being considered as part of the budget that's being developed.
All right, well, that's what I want to make sure. Okay.
Any further questions? Sabrina? Holloman? Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon. The technical subcommittee of the Public Safety Complex has made tremendous strides in defining the infrastructure for the building. We continue to meet on a regular basis and make sure that we have a solid design for that facility. We are currently working on the IT infrastructure agreement, and that will be coming forward to you sometime in the near future. We're still finalizing that. That agreement will detail all the roles and responsibilities of both city and county staff in support of the technology in that facility. We are sharing those costs equally, and therefore the support is also being divided up among both entities. As Jay mentioned tonight, an item before you tonight, we're asking for your approval to dissolve the Public Safety Communications Board and allow the 800 megahertz system to be managed by the Management Committee. That does not change the overall daily management of the 800 megahertz system. That will still be done by the city's ISS radio shop, and we will still maintain joint ownership of the radio system with the county. So, questions?
I'll move the item, Mayor.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Go forth, do good. Let's have this. All right. Thank you very much. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Next item.
The next item is 13.04. Have you noticed that all of our policy items tonight are agreements or
Yeah. Yep.
partnerships or whatever?
With the county.
Yes,
Or and
somebody.
others.
Or fire.
Mhm.
13.04 is a discussion of the amendment to agreements with Leon County and Blueprint regarding flood mitigation improvements on Franklin Boulevard. And Commissioners, in 2010, you approved an interlocal agreement with Leon County to share a portion of a disaster recovery grant, which the county had received to address damage that occurred in Tallahassee from Tropical Storm Faye. And for a variety of reasons tonight, we are seeking your approval to extend the city agreements that are going to expire before we're able to actually finish the project. Let me ask Michael Parker if he will come up and give you a status update on the contracts themselves, as well as a status update on the projects.
Yes, ma'am. The contracts, we have two contracts. One is with Leon County, which we act as a subrecipient since they're the recipient of the actual grant for approximately $4.9 million in that contract. Subsequently, we also have a contract with Blueprint 2000 for doing the Franklin Boulevard portion of our allocation of funds, which is approximately $4.2 million. We also had a little over $700,000 of our 4.9, which had to be used to assist affordable rental housing. And we have already used those funds in conjunction with the Housing Authority to make storm hardening improvements to public housing units. The current agreements all expire on June the 8th because that was the original expiration date of the grant agreement between the state and the county. The county has secured an extension of approximately 9 months from the state till March of 2013, and we are asking your permission to approve amendments to our contracts with the county and Blueprint 2000 for an additional 9-month extension. I will note that Blueprint does not anticipate that they will need a full 9 months to complete the Franklin Boulevard improvements. They anticipate that those will be completed before the end of the calendar year. However, in an abundance of caution, since the state has given the county the full 9 months to March, ironically, we want to avoid the possibility that a storm could delay the completion of Franklin Boulevard. We're recommending that the amendment cover the entire time allowed by the state, which would be until March of 2013.
Move acceptance.
Second.
Properly moved in second. Anything further? All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Next item.
The next item is 13.05, discussion of collective bargaining agreements with IAFF. And Commissioners, in February of 2011, the city and the International Association of Firefighters entered into negotiations to set forth a successor agreement to the current collective bargaining agreement for the firefighter bargaining unit and the current collective bargaining agreement for the fire supervisor bargaining unit, which expired on September 30th of 2011. Settlement was reached with the IAFF, and the terms of the agreements covering both the firefighter and the supervisor bargaining units were ratified just last night by the respective bargaining unit members. Staff is requesting that the City Commission approve the tentative agreements, which will allow them to become effective for the period of October 1st, 2011 to September 30th, 2014. I'd like to ask Cassandra Jackson to come up just to talk briefly about the contract and answer any questions you might have. But I also want to thank our fire chief and our IAFF leadership for working with us and getting these contract issues resolved. We appreciate the good work that you've done in that regard. Cassandra.
Thank you, Mayor and City Commissioners. You have before you the tentative agreements, which were signed by your staff and also which have been approved, as the City Manager said last evening, by the International Association of Firefighters. As the City Manager said, it covers both collective bargaining units, the supervisory unit composed of the battalion chiefs and the captains, as well as the rank and file unit, which is composed of the firefighters, the lieutenants, and the driver engineers. We're asking your approval of the tentative agreement. It stays within the parameters which you set of a 9% increase over the 3-year contract. Also, they have agreed to Plan D. If they do not come up with a plan through their benefit through the committee that achieves the same percent of payroll pension savings as you requested, which is 3.41%. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer those questions.
Comments, questions? Motion.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Second.
Properly moved and second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Questions?
Aye.
I'm going to vote against this, but, and not because I think it's a horribly awful agreement, but for reasons that we've talked about before, I would have preferred to do the Plan D as it was presented. I think that's more in line with what we're trying to do across the board on pensions, and I would not do the step. So I'll be voting no.
Okay, so that's the basis of it. All in favor of the motion, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
Aye.
It passes 3-1. The only thing I'd say is that, Chief, where were you at the Splash and Jam yesterday?
I was mentoring my referee in the case I was next.
Well, the gentleman next to you participated, and he did well. Thank you very much. The motion passes. Thank you. Next item.
We're on break, Mr. Mayor.
On what?
We're on break until our 6 o'clock public hearing.
Okay.
Good to unagended speakers.
Commissioner, we can go to unagended speakers if you like. We have,
We'll probably need to come back. so
we'll
that-
come back. We have to come back for the 6 o'clock.
Right.
And then after that, we can take any other unagended speakers that may appear. Do we have any unagended speakers that want to speak now?
We do have one speaker, Mayor, Dr. Irwin Jackson.
I'm looking for Michelle. Is she here?
Here she comes. She's here.
I can get her to put this in for me. That'd be great.
Mr. Jackson's assistant, will you come and help him, please?
Thank you. Very good. Michelle, I was looking for you to give you this ahead of time, and I couldn't find you anywhere. You told me last week she gets under pressure when I give it to her. Now everyone's going to watch her. So if everyone will focus me, I'm just going to pass these out. Just make sure. And no one will be watching what Michelle's doing.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Irwin Jackson, 1341 Jackson Bluff. I was afraid the print on that's going to be too small, but at least we found it. During the past 16 months, we've been discussing my right to access to the Airport Drive easement. Attorney Jim English reviewed the easement and concluded the city needed to restore my access, which they did. We had a get-together with the judge last week before. He confirmed the city's responsibility to pay part of my expenses. This matter is now, I believe, resolved unless the city tries to block my access again. If so, I'm really going to hire a real attorney and not an imposter, and we'll go to circuit court. The other issue important to me, my son enjoys watching ESPN, and there's a program called Scoreboard. So I think it's important that we spend just a minute going over the score, kind of having a review between Citizen Jackson and Tallahassee's taxpayers versus John Marks. If you look at this table up here, what you see is we started exposing regarding deferred compensation. We went ahead and, the biomass, we exposed the city, ex-city commissioner Alan Cass was voting for BG&E biomass plant, taking money from them at the same time. The biomass plant, after these 3-minute discussions, left town. Mr. Katz moved to Portugal, and the Southside families were protected. We started talking about the second item, deferred compensation. We stopped the mayor and the commissioners from taking deferred compensation. That resulted to a $22,000 loss to John Marks specifically and the other commissioners. We questioned the mayor's contract with the city contractor ADE. Lo and behold, again, a $24,000 loss to Mr. Marks. We exposed the mayor's self-serving relationship with Honeywell and his personal contract through their attorneys in the amount of $150,000 a year. Again, that contract's been canceled. The airport drive easement, Citizen Jackson regains access. Give me a point on that. Jackson receives financial payment, though small. And the judge did limit the financial award, so we'll give John Marks a point for that. Most important, I think, is a policies initiated by my efforts and supported by this commission. We now have a city ordinance to prevent City Attorney Jim English from paying John Marks' legal fees if he's acted unethically or illegally. We have a policy that prevents City Attorney English from independently selecting citizens to be spied upon. Safeguards for Tallahassee citizens have been achieved. Now, I have been rumored, it's been that this policy is going to be called the Citizen Jackson Anti-Spying Policy, and if you do so, then that's certainly fine by me. Pending investigations and ruling, the Florida Commission ruling on ethics, June 15th, the Florida Election Commission, the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, thank you, sir, the Florida Bar, and finally we'll wrap up with the FBI investigation. It's amazing how important and the impact of 3 minutes of truth. Thank you very much.
We don't have any other speakers now, Mayor. If there are others, we'll take them at the public hearing hour or at the end of the public hearings.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, sir.
I just wanted to quickly applaud the manager and the chief of police and Parks and Recreation, fire, and others who participated in yesterday's kickoff of Splash and Jam, which was a really, really fantastic success. And I know that this upcoming summer, if everybody continues in the spirit of cooperation that we did last year, the youth of Tallahassee will be deeply occupied during the evenings with fun, safe entertainment activities offered by the various departments. And I think one other really important, piece of the Splash and Jam is that you put side by side with police officers who don't necessarily enjoy the best reputation when it comes to young people, only because it's not popular to like authority. Side by side with folks at Parks and Recreation who they see and enjoy on a pretty regular basis through intramural sports and otherwise, and they really get to see those commingled, and I think it begins to change some of the perceptions about law enforcement and how they can interact with law enforcement. So I'm looking forward to a really, really good summer.
Yes.
On that point, do I understand that this is all privately funded? Well, I congratulate you on...
Well, when you say privately, we still have our folks.
Well, I know that, but
Yeah.
I mean, last year we used that one-time refund that we got, and then this year you all were able to find private sponsors, and I think that's really terrific.
And we're looking for...
I really want to express my appreciation to those people for stepping up, and because this is really a great idea.
We're looking for more sponsors. We got did we get everyone filled up yesterday?
I think we did.
Every Splash and Jam night has a sponsor. I will commend Commissioner Gillum, the Chief of Police, and others for stepping to the plate in doing so. I will do so as well. And every night, there will be a sponsor, and the kids will have a wonderful time. They really will. And again, you know, there are a lot of things I'd like to say, but I won't at this point in time. We stand in recess. back from recess. I think we are on public hearings at this point in time. Is that correct?
We are.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. And we have 3 public hearings this evening. The first, item 1501, is the first and only public hearing on ordinance 12014, proposed modifications to Chapter 5, Tallahassee Land Development Code for compliance with countywide minimum environmental standards. And you've heard the discussion about this already. This is the actual ordinance that will allow us to implement those standards. It is here for public hearing, and I don't believe there are any speakers.
Any speakers? Any speakers? No speakers. Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Next item.
Mr. Mayor, if you would now vote on item 13.01, that was the interlocal that you were briefed on previously.
So we got to go back to 13?
Just if you
Move acceptance.
Just to vote on it.
and-
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor of the favorable vote on item 13 as described earlier, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. Next item.
Item 1502 is the first and only public hearing on ordinance 12018 as amended. It's amendments to section 10 of the Land Development Code regarding configurations of plan unit development zoning districts and submittal requirements. It is also here for public hearing, and there are no speakers.
No speakers. That's the first and only public hearing.
Move acceptance.
Properly
Second.
moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item.
Your last public hearing is item 15.03. It is public hearing on Fiscal 12 Justice Assistance Grant. And Chief Jones is here if you have any questions on that matter.
Well, the chief isn't here, but I don't know if we have
Well,
any.
we're-
Oh, yes, he is. Any questions?
I'll move the item, Mayor.
Second.
Properly moved in second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously. I think we are on unagenda speakers again. Any unagenda speakers? Take a look over there.
No, sir.
No unagenda speakers. We're now on city information and sharing of ideas. We don't have any updates. Do we have any updates?
No, we don't.
Anybody want to share an idea?
Oh, I do.
Oh, go right ahead. Share an
I
idea
want
with
to
us.
share my experience at the Tallahassee Museum this morning on the zip line. The Tallahassee Museum opened the zip line today, and I figured that they wouldn't let anything happen to their elected officials. So this was probably a good time to start on a zip line. And of course, we were on the beginner section. It was definitely frightening enough, but I survived to tell about it, as did everyone that was there today, and I encourage everybody to go try it out. It really was a lot of fun, and everybody in this room could do it. So they really have gone the extra mile to make sure everything is safe and secure. They have you trained. They've got the tree-to-tree team in green shirts that follow along on the ground to make sure everybody's safe. But it was a lot of fun, and I'm real glad I did it.
I got just a couple things in the same vein this morning. We had a press conference on the current status of the health initiative 952100, and it was very well attended. It is something that really is growing in our community. I think they got a grant, Whole Child Leon got a grant for almost $100,000, and they're looking to get more. So stay tuned for 95210. It really is getting a hold in this community. The only other thing I'd like to say, and out of abundance of being public, I have been invited by a United Nations, I believe, team to go to Gabon, Africa, and I'll be traveling over there for a few days to meet with some other mayors and other African mayors at a conference over there for about 2 or 3 days, and I want to get back way in time for the commission meetings. That's the only thing I'm doing. Okay? Anything else? Anything else? We stand adjourned.
Code number 579. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in engineering, business administration, accounting, or a related field. and 4 years of professional experience that includes electric utility operations, planning, or regulatory compliance, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Deputy City Treasurer Clerk in the Office of the City Treasurer Clerk. Code number 115. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in accounting, finance, or a related business area, and 7 years of administrative and managerial experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 3 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity. Certification as a financial analyst may substitute for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Manager of the Blueprint 2000 Intergovernmental Agency. Code number 467. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in civil or construction engineering, urban planning, environmental management, business or public administration, or a related field, and 6 years of professional and administrative public works experience that includes project planning, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 3 years of required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity. Preference may be given to applicants holding a Florida Professional Engineer registration. Preference may also be given to applicants with a master's degree in one of the aforementioned degree areas. Job title, Police Officer with the Tallahassee Police Department. Code number 387. Applications for this position are accepted on a continuous basis. For minimum training and experience criteria, please visit the city's website at talgov.com. Job title, Firefighter with the Tallahassee Fire Department. Code number 365. Applications for this position are accepted on a continuous basis. For minimum training and experience criteria, please visit the city's website at talgov.com.
On the next Tallahassee Matters, we get a guided tour of the airport. When the new top managers started less than a year ago, they promised lots of changes and they've delivered. We'll check things out. Also, Green Thumbs, tune in for some free advice on landscaping. Brenda Pratt, horticulturalist with Parks and Recreation, will explain how they plant attractive landscape beds. That's on the next Tallahassee Matters on WCOT, Channel 13.
Out here at Earth Day 2012 at the Florida State Capitol Courtyard, and it's a beautiful spring day in Tallahassee, and we're expecting a great crowd today.
Is it reusable? Is it recyclable? Or do you throw it away? Let's pretend it's empty. What do we do with that? Perfect. We throw it away. Really good.
The city is promoting sustainability during this Earth Week event. We are helping educate the public and the community on different ways that they can go green. We have numerous different initiatives and programs and policies aimed at sustainability, ranging from environmental regulatory compliance, which is permitting and licensing, all the way to an idle-free program, which encourages drivers to idle less and save fuel and reduce emissions.
I sang this song to Locke too, and it don't look like it's gonna survive, but I'm gonna try my hardest.
TAP stands for Think About Personal Pollution, which really means that when it rains, is to think about where the rain goes. If rain moves fast over hard surfaces, it can take the nasty things on the roads and driveways and sidewalks into the rivers, lakes, and streams. April showers means that lots of water is running off our roofs and sidewalks. So buy a rain barrel. Go to tapwater.org, T-A-P-P water.org. That's a city program. Think About Personal Pollution. You can buy your own rain barrel, and you can help slow the flow so that the pollutants don't end up in our sensitive water.
students are already starting to pour in. You can kind of hear them in the background maybe, and it's an exciting day for them.
Then I want to ask you a question. Is dirt a pollution? Dirt is. Yes, it can. Good.
We want them to know the importance of conservation and preservation and protection of our natural resources. And in furtherance of that effort, we've got coloring books and different ways that they can get involved and be educated.
Pick a number, pick a number. 15. What temperature should your refrigerator be to ensure safety and operate efficiently?
We can do that in the rock.
Which one, 37? Good job.
We came to participate today in the Earth Day activities at the Florida Capitol. We wanted our students from Madison County to be able to see all the things they can do to help protect our Earth. It's important for them to see how many organizations are trying to do something to help create awareness for everyone to know it's important to take care of our Earth. And there are things that all of us can do, even fifth grade students, to help take care of our Earth.
At Monroe, as far as what our program is doing, we mainly focus on the school area, and we plant some rose gardens at the school. We mowed the grass and all that fun stuff. And we're mainly just trying to make it look so that our school looks appealing to the eye when other people come up. And we think that if we can start off small, and then on the side we'll do little projects to help the environment in our communities.
At 4.4 pounds per day, your annual trash is 160 pounds per year. So we have to start making less trash by recycling, right? All right.
It's very encouraging to have our youth out here today. They are our future, and the more that we can educate them, the better off we'll be in the future. So it's a great event, and we're very happy to see this participation.
We encourage our citizens to be involved in Earth Day activities and sustainable activities throughout the year to help keep our community as sustainable as it can be.
Welcome to this edition of Source One. I'm Tanya Heron with the City of Tallahassee, keeping you informed with the activities in your community. Don't turn that dial. You're tuned in to Source One. The next regular City Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 23rd at 4 p.m. in the City Commission chambers. Contact the Communications Department at 891-8533 for more information. In observance of the Memorial Day holiday, administrative offices will be closed on Monday, May 28th. Regular business hours will commence on the following business day. For more information, please call 891-8533. A Blueprint 2000 Intergovernmental Agency Community Meeting on Cascades Park will be held on Wednesday, May 30th at 5 p.m. at the Community Room at the City's Parks, Rec, and Neighborhood Affairs Department. For more information, please call 219-1060. The Tallahassee-Leon County Planning Commission has an opening for a City Commission appointee. The Planning Commission is the entity responsible for comprehensive area-wide planning within the City of Tallahassee and Leon County. The Planning Commission is also the duly designated local planning agency. For additional details, please call 891-6400 or go to the Planning Department webpage on talgov.com.
Small business owners are jumping for joy about the 2012 Tallahassee Matchmaker Networking Opportunities with the state of Florida. Join us at FSU's Turnbull Conference Center on May 24th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Tallahassee Matchmaker is free and hosted by the Florida Department of Management Services Office of Supply Diversity, the FSU Office of Supply Diversity, and FAMU SBDC Small Business Week Committee. Free workshops include social media for business, improving your bottom line, and more. See you at the 2012 Tallahassee Matchmaker.
TPD has an elite unit of
members who have received specialized training to reconstruct the scene to try and determine exactly what happened.
365 days a year, 24 hours a day, one of us is on call for traffic homicide.
You're collecting evidence, you're interviewing witnesses, you're trying to figure out why that crash happened.
Hi, I'm Bill Behenna with the City of Tallahassee's Department of Communications. Have you ever wondered how to apply for a job with the city? It's really quite easy. All you have to do is visit the city's website at talgov.com and view the current list of job openings. Now stay tuned for a complete list of job openings with the City of Tallahassee. Job title, Administrative Specialist 1 in the Department of Management and Administration. Code number 130. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in business or public administration, or a degree accepted in the field in which the vacancy exists, or possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate and 4 years of staff or administrative experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Business Process Solutions Manager with the electric utility. Code number 746. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in computer science, management information systems, geographic information science, engineering, geography, planning, business or public administration, or a related field, and 4 years of technical or professional experience that includes computer systems analysis or business process analysis, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. A master's degree in computer science may be substituted for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Planner 2 with the Blueprint 2000 agency. Code number 345. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a master's degree in planning, public administration, a field related to the aforementioned areas, or a field directly related to the area to which the position is assigned, and 1 year of professional experience that includes planning, or possession of a bachelor's degree in planning, public administration, a field related to the aforementioned areas, or a field directly related to the area to which the position is assigned, and 2 years of professional experience that includes planning, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Animal Control Officer with the Tallahassee-Leon Community Animal Service Center. Code number 023. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and 2 years of experience in human caregiving, animal care, animal breeding, animal grooming, law enforcement, code enforcement, animal control enforcement, or similar experience with animals, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Survey Party Chief with the Public Works Department. Code number 665. Application deadline, June 1st. Minimum training and experience includes possession of an associate's degree and 4 years of technical survey experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 2 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity, or 3 years of the required experience must have been in a work leader capacity. Job title, Electronics Technician with Star Metro, the city's mass transit agency. Code number 432. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and completion of a 2-year electronics course from a vocational or community college, and 2 years of experience that includes the maintenance and repair of electronic systems, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Survey Technician 3 with the Public Works Department. Code number 664. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, 4 years of technical survey experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Electrical Engineer 3 with the electric utility. Code number 567. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and 5 years of professional electrical engineering experience, or a degree in general engineering, science, or mathematics with 6 years of professional experience in the electrical engineering field. A master's degree or a doctoral degree in any of the aforementioned areas may be substituted for 1 year or 2 years of the required experience, respectively. Preference may be given to applicants who have experience in electrical distribution system design and standards. Job title, Electrical Engineer 2, with the electric utility, code number 571. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and 2 years of professional electrical engineering experience, or a bachelor's degree in general engineering, science, or mathematics, and 3 years of the aforementioned experience. A master's degree in any of the aforementioned areas may be substituted for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Electric Reliability Compliance Analyst, with the electric utility, code number 579. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in engineering, business administration, accounting, or a related field, and 4 years of professional experience that includes electric utility operations, planning, or regulatory compliance, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Deputy City Treasurer Clerk in the Office of the City Treasurer Clerk, code number 115. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in accounting, finance, or a related business area, and 7 years of administrative and managerial experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 3 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity. Certification as a financial analyst may substitute for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Manager of Blueprint 2000 Intergovernmental Agency, code number 467. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in civil or construction engineering, urban planning, environmental management, business or public administration, or a related field, and 6 years of professional and administrative public works experience that includes project planning, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 3 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity. Preference may be given to applicants holding a Florida Professional Engineer registration. Preference may also be given to applicants with a master's degree in one of the aforementioned degree areas. Job title, Police Officer, with the Tallahassee Police Department, code number 387. Applications for this position are accepted on a continuous basis. For minimum training and experience criteria, please visit the city's website at talgov.com. Job title, Firefighter, with the Tallahassee Fire Department, code number 365. Applications for this position are accepted on a continuous basis. For minimum training and experience criteria, please visit the city's website at talgov.com.
On the next Tallahassee Matters, we get a guided tour of the airport. When the new top managers started less than a year ago, they promised lots of changes and they've delivered. We'll check things out. Also, Green Thumbs tune in for some free advice on landscaping. Brenda Pratt, horticulturalist with Parks and Recreation, will explain how they plant attractive landscape beds. That's on the next Tallahassee Matters on WCOT, Channel 13.
Out here at Earth Day 2012 at the Florida State Capitol Courtyard, and it's a beautiful spring day in Tallahassee, and we're expecting a great crowd today.
Is it reusable? Is it recyclable? Or do you throw it away? Let's pretend it's empty. What do we do with that? Perfect. We throw it away. Really good.
The city is promoting sustainability during this Earth Week event. We are helping educate the public and the community on different ways that they can go green. We have numerous different initiatives and programs and policies aimed at sustainability, ranging from environmental regulatory compliance, which is permitting and licensing, all the way to an idle-free program, which encourages drivers to idle less and save fuel and reduce emissions.
natural showers means that lots of water is running off our roofs through sidewalks. So buy a rain barrel. Go to tapwater.org, TAPP water.org. That's a city program. Think about personal pollution. You can buy your own rain barrel, and you can help slow the flow so that the pollutants don't end up in our sensitive water.
This is a display where you have your CFL bulbs and your regular incandescent bulbs. Kind of a little demonstration to show you how much energy you can save using these.
The students are already starting to pour in. You can kind of hear them in the background maybe, and it's an exciting day for them.
Then I want to ask you a question. Is dirt a pollution? Dirt is. Yes, it can. Good.
We want them to know the importance of conservation and preservation and protection of our natural resources. And in furtherance of that effort, we've got coloring books and different ways that they can get involved and be educated.
Pick a number. 15. What temperature should your refrigerator be to ensure safety and operate efficiently?
We finna do that in the rock now.
Which one, 37? Good job.
We came to participate today in the Earth Day activities at the Florida Capitol. We wanted our students from Madison County to be able to see all the things they can do to help protect our Earth. It's important for them to see how many organizations are trying to do something to help create awareness for everyone to know it's important to take care of our Earth. And there are things that all of us can do, even fifth grade students, to help take care of our Earth.
At Monroe, as far as what our program is doing, we mainly focus on the school area, and we plant some rose gardens at the school. We mowed the grass and all that fun stuff. And we're mainly just trying to make it look so that our school looks appealing to the eye when other people come up. And we think that we can start off small, and then on the side we'll do little projects to help the environment in our communities.
At 4.4 pounds per day, your annual trash is 160 pounds per year. So we have to start making less trash by recycling, right? All right.
It's very encouraging to have our youth out here today. They are our future, and the more that we can educate them, the better off we'll be in the future. So it's a great event, and we're very happy to see this participation.
We encourage our citizens to be involved in Earth Day activities and sustainable activities throughout the year to help keep our community as sustainable as it can be.
Welcome to this edition of Source One. I'm Tanya Heron with the City of Tallahassee, keeping you informed of the activities in your community. Don't turn that dial, you're tuned in to Source One. The next regular City Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 23rd at 4 p.m. in the City Commission chambers. Contact the Communications Department at 891-8533 for more information. In observance of the Memorial Day holiday, administrative offices will be closed on Monday, May 28th. Regular business hours will commence on the following business day. For more information, please call 891-8533. A Blueprint 2000 Intergovernmental Agency Community Meeting on Cascades Park will be held on Wednesday, May 30th at 5 p.m. at the Community Room at the City's Parks, Rec, and Neighborhood Affairs Department. For more information, please call 219-1060. The Tallahassee-Leon County Planning Commission has an opening for a City Commission appointee. The Planning Commission is the entity responsible for comprehensive area-wide planning within the City of Tallahassee and Leon County. The Planning Commission is also the duly designated local planning agency. For additional details, please call 891-6400 or go to the Planning Department webpage on talgov.com.
Small business
business owners are jumping for joy about the 2012 Tallahassee Matchmaker Networking Opportunities with the state of Florida. Join us at FSU's Turnbull Conference Center on May 24th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Tallahassee Matchmaker is free and hosted by the Florida Department of Management Services Office of Supply Diversity, the FSU Office of Supply Diversity, and FAMU SBDC Small Business Week Committee. Free workshops include social media for business, improving your bottom line, and more. See you at the 2012 Tallahassee Matchmaker.
TPD has an elite unit of officers who have received specialized training to reconstruct the scene to try and determine exactly what happened.
365 days a year, 24 hours a day, one of us is on call for traffic homicide.
You're collecting evidence, you're interviewing witnesses, you're trying to figure out why that crash happened.
Hi, I'm Bill Behenna with the City of Tallahassee's Department of Communications. Have you ever wondered how to apply for a job with the city? It's really quite easy. All you have to do is visit the city's website at talgov.com and view the current list of job openings. Now stay tuned for a complete list of job openings with the City of Tallahassee. Job title, Administrative Specialist 1 in the Department of Management and Administration. Code number 130. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in business or public administration, or a degree accepted in the field in which the vacancy exists, or possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and 4 years of staff or administrative experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Business Process Solutions Manager with the electric utility. Code number 746. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in computer science, management information systems, geographic information science, engineering, geography, planning, business or public administration, or a related field, and 4 years of technical or professional experience that includes computer systems analysis or business process analysis, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. A master's degree in computer science may be substituted for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Planner 2 with the Blueprint 2000 agency. Code number 345. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a master's degree in planning, public administration, a field related to the aforementioned areas, or a field directly related to the area to which the position is assigned, and 1 year of professional experience that includes planning, or possession of a bachelor's degree in planning, public administration, a field related to the aforementioned areas, or a field directly related to the area to which the position is assigned, and 2 years of professional experience that includes planning, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Animal Control Officer with the Tallahassee Leon Community Animal Service Center. Code number 023. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and 2 years of experience in human caregiving, animal care, animal breeding, animal grooming, law enforcement, code enforcement, animal control enforcement, or similar experience with animals, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Survey Party Chief with the Public Works Department. Code number 665. Application deadline, June 1st. Minimum training and experience includes possession of an associate's degree and 4 years of technical survey experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 2 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity, or 3 years of the required experience must have been in a work leader capacity. Job title, Electronics Technician with Star Metro, the city's mass transit agency. Code number 432. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and completion of a 2-year electronics course from a vocational or community college, and 2 years of experience that includes the maintenance and repair of electronic systems, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Survey Technician 3 with the Public Works Department. Code number 664. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and 4 years of technical survey experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Electrical Engineer 3 with the electric utility. Code number 567. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and 5 years of professional electrical engineering experience, or a degree in general engineering, science, or mathematics with 6 years of professional experience in the electrical engineering field. A master's degree or a doctoral degree in any of the aforementioned areas may be substituted for 1 year or 2 years of the required experience, respectively. Preference may be given to applicants who have experience in electrical distribution system design and standards. Job title, Electrical Engineer 2 with the electric utility. Code number 571. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and 2 years of professional electrical engineering experience, or a bachelor's degree in general engineering, science, or mathematics, and 3 years of the aforementioned experience. A master's degree in any of the aforementioned areas may be substituted for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Electric Reliability Compliance Analyst with the electric utility. Code number 579. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in engineering, business administration, accounting, or a related field, and 4 years of professional experience that includes electric utility operations, planning, or regulatory compliance, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Deputy City Treasurer Clerk in the Office of the City Treasurer Clerk. Code number 115. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in accounting, finance, or a related business area, and 7 years of administrative and managerial experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 3 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity. Certification as a financial analyst may substitute for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Manager of the Blueprint 2000 Intergovernmental Agency. Code number 467. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in civil or construction engineering, urban planning, environmental management, business or public administration, or a related field, and 6 years of professional and administrative public works experience that includes project planning, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 3 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity. Preference may be given to applicants holding a Florida Professional Engineer registration. Preference may also be given to applicants with a master's degree in one of the aforementioned degree areas. Job title, Police Officer with the Tallahassee Police Department. Code number 387. Applications for this position are accepted on a continuous basis. For minimum training and experience criteria, please visit the city's website at talgov.com. Job title, Firefighter with the Tallahassee Fire Department. Code number 365. Applications for this position are accepted on a continuous basis. For minimum training and experience criteria, please visit the city's website at talgov.com.
On the next Tallahassee Matters, we get a guided tour of the airport. When the new top managers started less than a year ago, they promised lots of changes and they've delivered. We'll check things out. Also, Green Thumbs, tune in for some free advice on landscaping. Brenda Pratt, horticulturalist with Parks and Recreation, will explain how they plant attractive landscape beds. That's on the next Tallahassee Matters on WCOT, Channel 13.
Out here at Earth Day 2012 at the Florida State Capitol Courtyard, and it's a beautiful spring day in Tallahassee. We're expecting a great crowd today.
Is it reusable? Is it recyclable? Or do you throw it away? Let's pretend pretend it's
Welcome to this edition of Source One. I'm Tanya Heron with the City of Tallahassee, keeping you informed with the activities in your community. Don't turn that dial. You're tuned in to Source One. The next regular City Commission meeting is scheduled for Wednesday, May 23rd at 4 p.m. in the City Commission chambers. Contact the Communications Department at 891-8533 for more information. In observance of the Memorial Day holiday, administrative offices will be closed on Monday, May 28th. Regular business hours will commence on the following business day. For more information, please call 891-8533. A Blueprint 2000 Intergovernmental Agency Community Meeting on Cascades Park will be held on Wednesday, May 30th at 5 p.m. at the Community Room at the City's Parks, Rec, and Neighborhood Affairs Department. For more information, please call 219-1060. The Tallahassee-Leon County Planning Commission has an opening for a City Commission appointee. The Planning Commission is the entity responsible for comprehensive area-wide planning within the City of Tallahassee and Leon County. The Planning Commission is also the duly designated local planning agency. For additional details, please call 891-6400 or go to the Planning Department webpage on talgov.com.
Small business owners are jumping for joy about the 2012 Tallahassee Matchmaker Networking Opportunities with the state of Florida. Join us at FSU's Turnbull Conference Center on May 24th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The Tallahassee Matchmaker is free and hosted by the Florida Department of Management Services Office of Supply Diversity, the FSU Office of Supply Diversity, and FAMU SBDC Small Business Week Committee. Free workshops include social media for business, improving your bottom line, and more. See you at the 2012 Tallahassee Matchmaker.
TPD has an elite unit of officers who have received specialized training to reconstruct the scene to try and determine exactly what happened.
365 days a year, 24 hours a day, one of us is on call for traffic homicide.
You're collecting evidence, you're interviewing witnesses, you're trying to figure out why that crash happened.
Hi, I'm Bill Behenna with the City of Tallahassee's Department of Communications. Have you ever wondered how to apply for a job with the city? It's really quite easy. All you have to do is visit the city's website at talgov.com and view the current list of job openings. Now stay tuned for a complete list of job openings with the City of Tallahassee. Job title, Administrative Specialist 1 in the Department of Management and Administration. Code number 130. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in business or public administration, or a degree accepted in the field in which the vacancy exists, or possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate, and 4 years of staff or administrative experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Business Process Solutions Manager with the electric utility. Code number 746. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in computer science, management information systems, geographic information science, engineering, geography, planning, business or public administration, or a related field, and 4 years of technical or professional experience that includes computer systems analysis or business process analysis, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. A master's degree in computer science may be substituted for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Planner 2 with the Blueprint 2000 Agency. Code number 345. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a master's degree in planning, public administration, a field related to the aforementioned areas, or a field directly related to the area to which the position is assigned, and 1 year of professional experience that includes planning, or possession of a bachelor's degree in planning, public administration, a field related to the aforementioned areas, or a field directly related to the area to which the position is assigned, and 2 years of professional experience that includes planning, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Animal Control Officer with the Tallahassee-Leon Community Animal Service Center. Code number 023. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate and 2 years of experience in human caregiving, animal care, animal breeding, animal grooming, law enforcement, code enforcement, animal control enforcement, or similar experience with animals, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Survey Party Chief with the Public Works Department, code number 665. Application deadline, June 1st. Minimum training and experience includes possession of an associate's degree and 4 years of technical survey experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. 2 years of the required experience must have been in a supervisory capacity, or 3 years of the required experience must have been in a work leader capacity. Job title, Electronics Technician with Star Metro, the city's mass transit agency. Code number 432. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate and completion of a 2-year electronics course from a vocational or community college and 2 years of experience that includes the maintenance and repair of electronic systems, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Survey Technician 3 with the Public Works Department. Code number 664. Application deadline, May 25th. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a high school diploma or an equivalent recognized certificate and 4 years of technical survey experience, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Electrical Engineer 3 with the electric utility. Code number 567. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and 5 years of professional electrical engineering experience, or a degree in general engineering, science, or mathematics with 6 years of professional experience in the electrical engineering field. A master's degree or a doctoral degree in any of the aforementioned areas may be substituted for 1 year or 2 years of the required experience, respectively. Preference may be given to applicants who have experience in electrical distribution system design and standards. Job title, Electrical Engineer 2 with the electric utility. Code number 571. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in electrical engineering and 2 years of professional electrical engineering experience, or a bachelor's degree in general engineering, science, or mathematics, and 3 years of the aforementioned experience. A master's degree in any of the aforementioned areas may be substituted for 1 year of the required experience. Job title, Electric Reliability Compliance Analyst with the electric utility. Code number 579. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in engineering, business administration, accounting, or a related field, and 4 years of professional experience that includes electric utility operations, planning, or regulatory compliance, or an equivalent combination of training and experience. Job title, Deputy City Treasurer Clerk in the Office of the City Treasurer Clerk. Code number 115. This position will remain open until filled. Minimum training and experience includes possession of a bachelor's degree in accounting, finance,